indeed my first year in the secondary school, which we call class 1 then. There was no GSS. So class 1, a coach came into my school, Coach Area Wire of blessed memory. Josiah is his name, was his name. He came then. Grassroots sports enjoys more coverage than what we have it now. Coaches are posted to districts, educational districts, and they look for a central place where other students who wish to take part in one sport or the other will converge every evening for training. So he came into my school, Metropolitan College Isolo, one afternoon, and he asked at the assembly hall those who are interested in playing handball, and I indicated interest. So we started training. Normally, school opens, normal session commences in October, September usually. And by the following year, we already had gathered some what we call experience, for handball, catching and passing. If you're able to catch and pass,
yes,
those are the basics. So as soon as we were okay with the basics, we started the collation of athletes from Okota. There's Okota School Complex. So he was also in charge of Okota School Complex. So we identified some other talents there, but our school was the main, ground that we normally train. So he collected all of us, and we were barely 12 then. But the following year, before then, we represented Lagos State. He selected some of us. We represented Lagos State at Kwara then. I think Kwara 84, yes. We represented Lagos State. I started my post-primary education in 1983. 84, I represented Lagos State at the then Kwara 84. We won. We got the gold medal. And then for handball, that is much I know. If you participate in sports festival, any state that comes first will represent Nigeria at a competition, in one international competition. Usually we go to Denmark or Sweden, because those are the two countries in Europe that are known for handball.
Okay.
So we won that competition and we were built to go to Denmark. We started preparation, and we eventually traveled to Denmark in 1986. 85 to play under 12 competition, because we were actually pre-12 years by the time we played sports festival.
Okay.
So it was that calculation that made us qualify to be able to play under 12 abroad. And we were there for close to a month, because we actually were transported. We enter plane, we'll get to somewhere, we take a ship, it was an adventure. So I started representing Nigeria from then, and I represented Lagos State in a number of competitions, national sports festival, most especially, and championship. But I don't know why I didn't fancy being in a club, playing for a club.
Okay.
It's a personal thing, but I can't pin down the reason why I didn't do that. I wasn't quite interested in playing for any club. There was Malta club then, Malta competition. There was River Babes and all the rest of it. And I noticed that my mates were just shunting from one club to the other. They'll play for this club this season, another club that season. I wasn't much interested. But I know that there was one particular afternoon, while I was doing that, I was also interested in going to school. Should be told.
Yeah.
Because my school sat, despite the distractions, because there were times that we go to competition, we were picked from school to training.
During classes.
Yeah. To training. After training, we go back to the hostel. We're not going to school from home. We're going to school from the camp. So we're selected from all over Lagos State.
All local governments in Lagos.
In Lagos State, we were selected. It doesn't mean that every local government was represented.
Okay.
No. At the final selection,
players.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we were picked from, despite the distractions. And after seeing our results, some of us desired to go to school. And I was actually going after mass communication. I wanted to study mass communication. But along the line, one afternoon, Coach Tony, he has also retired now, Handball coach, just came to training and told us that there is this form in LASUED, diploma in PHE. I never did PHE. Was there even PHE? So as a subject during that time. So I have never heard of PHE. So he just said diploma. I said, okay, it's fine. Two of us from that team obtained the form and we started. But there was so much challenge having to combine schooling with
sports.
going to train at Roe Park.
Okay.
Last week, of course, we had our hostel in Vokes. We're staying in Vokes.
Okay.
When we started, we're trying to cope. We had our trainings Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday. No, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. So Saturday, good for us. But Monday and Wednesday, training starts for 4. And our coaches are so disciplined. If you come late, you won't join training. So if there's no sense in coming all the way
from Vokes to
Roe Park, and you still could not do any, you cannot account for those number of hours. So we were finding it difficult to cope. But Saturday was okay for us. And our coach would also not allow us to train only once in a week. So we were not finding it too easy. We started skipping training. So at that time, of course, we already established Handball team in LASUED. Just the 2 of us. As another year, another person joined us. So it made the 3 of us.
Okay. So is it safe to say you pioneered
yes.
Handball in
Handball team in LASUED. There was no handball.
And also, I think if we manage the school sports effectively, and just like the NBA abroad, that is well managed, I even feel their college sports has more recognition than their main sports.
Sure.
If this was effectively managed, I don't think inferior athletes can access the main team. Do you think so?
No, you see, my belief is that talent can be identified at any level.
Yes.
At any level. If you are not captured at the level of at the basic level, which is the secondary level, you could be captured at the university level. There are some individuals who are interested in one sport. Let me give you a scenario. There was a case of a student, my classmate, a schoolmate, who was just co-opted into the judo team. And for the first time in her life, she represented the school and she won a gold medal.
Wow.
She has never been into sports. Never, ever. But the coach just saw her and saw that thing in her that, okay, you are 48, weight 48. And weight 48 usually do not have many competitors. There could just be 3 of them, there could just be 2 of them. They fight and they win medals. So for a good coach, identification of talent at any level is very important. There could be that innate tendency, there could be that innate skill, until when somebody identifies that and try to bring it out of that person, you may not know is a talent that is hidden somewhere.
Yes. But if the school sport is well managed and is what it ought to be, there will be stages. Right from probably entry or when the talent is identified till when the talent starts attending trainings and is nurtured. Then out of probably 24 athletes identified for a team sport, only 7, like handball now, only 7 will be allowed to play at a time. So I believe that there can be stages in that school sports where we have, okay, this has been identified, over time trained, then for different positions and based on their capability, then they can progress into the official school team.
Okay.
So I think having that kind of system would filter out those that are likely to hinder others' performance. I'm not writing those ones off. They can always join in the next competition.
No, when I say that one person could be a spoiler, I don't mean that that person is not skillful. No.
Okay.
What I mean is this. For example, look at yesterday's, was it yesterday? Day for yesterday's match between Nigeria and
Cote d'Ivoire.
Cote d'Ivoire. Was it Cote d'Ivoire? No, not Cote d'Ivoire. Guinea-Bissau. You know, 3 goals were disqualified during that match. 2 for us and 1 for Guinea-Bissau. What I'm driving at that football is a game of 11 players. One person may not just be in the right frame of mind. It's not that he's not skillful.
Just at that moment.
He's skillful. But that particular moment, that person may not be in the right frame of mind. You lay a pass and you expect that that person will just put it into the net. And he shoots it up. And he does that 2-3 times in that match, and eventually you lost the match. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
No, if you are not skillful, you can't. You can't make it to the team.
Okay.
But your frame of mind at that part, and that's why everything must have a psychologist. There are principles. There are things that you must do as a psychologist. Pep talk, that kind of thing. But our international players will not want to listen to such pep talks.
Yeah. You mentioned the challenges you came across while trying to balance sports and academy, and you have to eventually leave grassroots sports for school sports. For athletes out there that also want to come to school, that may not be willing to drop grassroots sports for school sports, what do you think?
I think what to obtain in other climes is to have a flexible mode of study. What do I mean? The student come in at convenience. The course outline is drawn in a way that it suits, because they will ask you to submit your days of training, and your timetable can be tailored towards. That's what I'm saying in other climes. Will be tailored towards your training schedule. If you have training Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, of course your lectures will now be Tuesday, Thursday, like that, and you can then continue to do your sports while you also study. But in this climb, we have not developed to that level. But what can be done in our own situation is to allow for coaches, go back to the basics. Let our coaches be posted to districts, not leaving out the tertiary institutions. It could be 2 coaches per division. And you identify a major place where every one of them gathers for training. And you have your training program for each of these. It's only then that people can show interest. So it is you that will now have that connectivity with the coaches at the sports council.
Okay.
And then those talents that you have discovered in those little areas can then be transferred into the mainstream.
Yeah.
And when they go to the mainstream, you still have to have consideration to the fact that they are in school. No matter how skillful you are, one day endurance will leave you. You can still be skillful.
Yeah.
But the endurance will no longer be there. It then means that you can no longer win laurels, but you can fall back on your certificates.
Yes.
You can even be a coach. You can be a sports administrator. You can be whatever, because all your life you have lived in the sports industry. So the best, because you have passion for sports, the best is for you to remain in that. And that is why you get the best out of yourself, and anyone can get the best out of you. You are retired as an elite athlete. You are now going to work in a restaurant. There are 2 different things that does not add up. There is tendency that whatever assignment is given to you in that restaurant, you will show more resilience in anything that has to do with physical activity than the one that requires sitting.
Yes.
Because all your life you have been in sports. But for that person to have found himself or herself in sports marketing or even ticketing, do you understand?
Yes.
That passion goes along with your daily job.
Yeah.
And so you derive more satisfaction from that.
Even your experience will
come to bear.
Yes. There will be a difference between you
and
as a sports person.
That's what obtains in other clients. You hardly can find a player, an international player, who goes into any other vocation apart from sports. They have one or two things or whatever to do with sports. Even if it's to have an academy, even they just remain in sports. And that's why their sports continue to thrive.
Right.
But in our own case, I'm just lucky to still remain. Others are not that lucky. They will not derive satisfaction in whatever they are doing, and they are not fulfilled. You imagine a sports person, maybe a tennis player, who goes to the university to study medicine. Be sure that that person will eventually leave sport, or the medicine will leave the person.
True.
That's it.
Okay, yes. But what if such player, instead of going into medicine, pure medicine, what if the person goes into something like exercise physiology?
Sure, that person is still remaining in
the
sports. So, except they are encouraged to do courses that will allow them
be flexible
and still be active. And how can you be active? Is to go for sports-driven courses. If you're a sports person, there's no younger. I heard you listen. I listened to some of your people saying they want to become a lifer. If I'm not a sports, if I'm not a footballer, I want to be an engineer. It takes them off. It takes them off completely. You can't combine the two. You have to leave one for one. Oh yes, encourage them if they are into sports. If they are into sports, the best you can encourage them to do is to do sports-driven courses. That is the truth. Okay.
I would like to know if you have any partnership in place with grassroots clubs. I know football is the common sport here in Nigeria. So do you have any partnership with them yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Because we are new, we are in the process of partnering with, especially for our elite athletes. The major goal of the university management is to provide opportunities for elite athletes to seek admission with us.
Yeah.
So we go out to search for elite athletes and encourage them
to come to school. Okay, given the location of this university, if we get elite athletes from different areas in Lagos and they have to come to school, going back to their training would be onerous for them. Is there anything in place to manage their training here to ensure that they are also in line with, in terms of physical activities, they are also in line with?
We expect them that they will have personal plan. We do not want to enforce our own plan on them. They have a personal plan. For example, there was a time that the karateka, what do you call them, who want to employ the coach. She's in 100 level. She's a national athlete. Okay. So we want to take the risk of engaging a personal coach. We want to employ a personal coach so that while the personal coach is engaged with her, the coach will also identify talents within, and then use her as role model or guinea pig to train others.
Awesome.
That was our plan. If we identify again, we have so many coaches, but personally, maybe because I took part in team sports, I don't like team sports any longer.
Yeah, individual sports.
Yeah.
I root for individual.
I concentrate on individual sports.
Yes.
If you have to sponsor any team out, if you have to go for any competition, I would like to sponsor more of individual sports than team sports. We could just use team sport. Okay, football is a common popular sport. Let's go with it. But if we take 11 players, 18, then we could take about 5 or 6 individual, and they win more laurels than football.
Yes.
And football, if you do not take the medals, you are not reckoned with. So, but in the individual sports, if you come fourth, you are still given the second bronze.
Yes. Yes.
So, which one would one prefer as a manager?
True. Yes. Individual
sport. But that does not mean we wouldn't encourage team sport. We will, and we organize competitions among colleges, departments and the rest, so that they can have more opportunities to choose the sports they want to go into.
Okay, that works now. I'm aware that Sporting Lagos, which is an NPFL club, is in partnership with MIVA University, and they are exploring online methods for their athletes.
Okay.
So I know some sporting athletes have registered with MIVA University for online degrees.
Okay.
So is this something feasible within LASUED too?
Why? Why not? Why not? But it will, of course, it won't be degree course. Certificates?
Oh, actually, sorry, it's a certificate course. Yeah, it's a certificate course.
Why not? If we have such opportunity, we'll throw it open.
Okay. And DLI in Unilag, as I have people that have attended, and I know they camp them in school for probably 2 months.
Yeah.
Then they take the exam.
Yeah.
Is this something grassroots athletes can also explore? For those that are for those that have holidays, maybe their holiday period can be used to accommodate this kind of training, and
it's possible. I know that at a time on this campus, we used to have clinics, but the clinics usually is targeted towards little children, I think age 8 to 12 or so. The university organize games, badminton, tennis. They train them during the holiday, long vacation.
Yeah.
They pay. They ask parents to bring their children. There was a time that they had well over 100 that they register and they train them for the period of the holiday. But we can also look into having that kind of program for athletes. But you see, the challenge there is that we are not running. We are not yet a residential university. If we ask others to go, usually OAU has sports hall, Unilag has sports hall, and those in the sports hall are exempted from being sent home after each semester break.
Okay.
So during that time, coaches can train intensively their athletes, but we do not have that luxury now.
Okay, so we should be expecting that.
Sure. If we have it, why not we explore it?
Yes. Okay. And for the current athletes in this university, is there any mentoring program in place for them, because they miss classes due to school representation or training?
We have policy. If we call that mentorship, can we call that mentorship? Yeah. We have policy. We have sports policy that caters for any students who had gone to represent the school. Indeed, it doesn't have to be a school. It could be a national call. It is our pride if our student is called to the national camp. We blow it. I know how to blow such things. We blow it and then say that our student, so person, had gone to represent Nigeria in so competition. So it's our pride. So that such student will not come back and will deprive him or her of whatever had taken place while he or she is away. We will be willing to do makeup test, makeup exam, whatever it takes. There was a case of a soldier who was posted to Boko Haram some 2-3 years back. He was in fine arts department. At the we'll call it academy board. At the academy board meeting, they just said he was absent, and I asked question that why is this student absent? There are just few students in fine arts, maybe 8 of them, and they wrote 0 for all his courses. And going to previous semesters, he didn't have such. And I said, you should be worried about a student having 0 at the exit. Final semester, he now said, he said he was posted to Boko Haram. If he was the reason why we must give him that honor, he cannot lose in 2 places. How about if he goes and something happens to him? What is the honor? At least his spirit will be happy with us if we do not record 0 for him. So I insisted that he has gone on national call and he must have his exam when he comes back. He came back, he wrote his exam, and he graduated. It's even more tasking if you write the exam alone. Yeah,
it's more tasking.
It's only a very good student, intelligent student that will be comfortable writing exam alone. Even when you are intelligent, you still want to whisper. Even when you're intelligent, you want to be sure, you want to confirm. But in the situation of writing exam alone, who do you confirm from?
Even that.
And you can finish your exam in 30 minutes.
Yes, yes.
The one of 2 hours, you can finish in 30 minutes. Because there is no side attraction.
And there is no group study and all of that. So I think it's more tasking.
So we have sports policy. And our sports policy is also extended to the issue of admission.
Okay.
Where we have cutoff points for normal students, we have a separate one for athletes, elite athletes. Although not pronounced, we have it. Okay. So it is just for the Directorate of Sports to present us. We now use the cutoff. The athletes, they will be sure that they are elite athletes. So we just use the cutoff for them. So many other things. We also give sports scholarship. You can't do us proud. You can't go to represent Nigeria. Maybe this AFCON. Maybe our student is there and they come back with gold medal. Throughout the stay, and go school or emo. Honestly, do us proud. Then we'll make sure that we also give you that leverage to achieve your maximum potential.
Okay. So elite athletes or grassroots athletes are outstanding. Do not have to worry about school tuition.
Yeah. That's it. If they, for example, represent the states, they come back with laurel, or represent Nigeria, come back with laurel, they can have it.
Okay.
If I was told while I was still playing handball, if I was told that it is not handball that will put food on my table, I will tell whoever the soothsayer is, shut up. What else do you want me to earn my living from? You understand?
Yes.
I thought I was going that path. And then maybe one day I'll become a coach. I indeed wanted to be enlisted into Navy, so that when I go into Navy, I would then still continue my sports. But unfortunately, Navy too, no Navy. We tried everything, it didn't work until we found ourselves here. How about destiny?